we have started recording the meeting, and so you can go ahead and start, Councilor Donald.
Thank you. Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Today is Today is January the 5th, 2020. Happy New Year to each of you. We thank God for bringing us from 2020 to 2021, which is a blessing because many didn't make it. And I have one that didn't make it in December. But we thank God that all is well now. Item number 2, will you please mute your phones? Whatever you have, unless you're speaking, please mute your phones. We have a lot of feedback here. Please mute your phones. Please mute your phones. Mute all devices unless you're speaking. We have many people on the line, but we need you to mute your phone so everyone can hear what is being said. Item number 2, Ms. Taylor.
Okay, I call roll call first. Councilor Alexander.
Present.
Councilor Collier.
Ms. Taylor.
Present.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Item number 2, we have not had our invocation.
Okay. Oh, item 2 is invocation, Dr. Victor Harkins Sr. I'm sorry.
Good morning, Dr. Harkins. It is good to have a relationship with your religious community. We can just send a text and ask for prayer, and they are willing to render prayer for the city of Bessemer. We'll now have our invocation by Dr. Victor L. Harkins Sr. Dr. Harkins.
Shall we pray? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes, sir.
Shall we pray?
Yes,
Father,
sir.
we bow in humble submission to the totality of your will, bidding you thanks for the many blessings that you've bestowed upon us. We thank you for grace and mercy, for peace that passes all understanding. God, we thank you and celebrate you for this very first meeting of the minds of our great marvel city, Bessemer, Alabama. Thank you for our mayor. Thank you for our council, our president, and all of those members of the council. We thank you for each district that each of these councilors serve. And we pray, God, that as we come together this morning for the purpose of business, the ordered business for this city, that you so order our words, our thoughts, our actions, that what we do be done pleasing in your sight, that we understand that the ultimate goal is first to satisfy, to honor, and to please you, and then to do what is necessary to see that we move our city forward. God, we thank you for bringing us through, and I literally mean through, the year 2020. There are many who started with us in 2020 that are not here with us today. And so, God, we hold up the bloodstained banner of Jesus the Christ. We reflect on the memories of those who have passed on, whether it was due to coronavirus or some other catastrophe, some other means. But through it all, Lord God, you've continued to sit high, look low, hear, and answer prayer. So we petition the throne of grace this morning. We pray for the dwelling presence of the Holy Spirit. He will rule and he will reign. Thank you, Lord God, for the citizens who connect via this meeting this morning. And lest we be remiss, Lord God, we thank you for social media, for even in this pandemic time that we live in. Without the social media platform, we would otherwise not be able to connect in the manner that we do today. So God, we bless you, we honor you, we thank you for your son, Jesus the Christ, whom you gave our souls to save. Bless us now. In his name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Harkins. It's always good to see you. We love you. If you will allow, if you would, if you like to stay, you're welcome.
Thank
We
you.
know that you are indeed concerned about the city of Bessemer.
Much so.
And I can honestly say that because I think when I first got on the council, I was crying a lot,
Yes.
but but you are truly concerned about this great city.
Amen.
I must, thank you, sir. I must say, because of the continuing limitations we are under due to COVID coronavirus, the meeting and distancing limitations, this meeting is being held by video conference through Zoom, a video conference tool through which all who are present, the members of the council, the mayor, the attorney, secretary, city clerk, and anyone else that is on this line are able to see and hear one another, although we may be in different locations. Item number 3, Ms. Taylor.
Yes, ma'am. Now, council roll call. Councilor Alexander,
Present.
Councilor Collier,
Present.
Councilor Crusoe,
Present.
Councilor Marshall,
Present.
Councilor Thigpen,
Present.
Councilor Matthews,
Present.
Councilor Donald.
Present.
There are 7 present, no absent. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Item number 4, please.
Committee reports.
Counselors, if you are a chairman of a committee, I would ask that we go ahead and have our meetings in January. So we will have time to work on them throughout the year and get some things accomplished and completed. Are there any committee meetings reports? Item number 5, please.
Presentations, awards, announcements, and recognitions.
Thank you, ma'am. Mayor Gurley, are you on the line?
Madam President,
Yes, sir. Good morning and Happy New Year to you.
good morning. Happy New Year to you, Pastor Harkin, the entire council, and all who are listening this morning. Just want to mention, I got a call from the Jefferson County Commission President on yesterday evening concerning where we are in the county relevant to COVID-19. It was a very alarming statistical update, obviously all over America, but particularly here in the state of Alabama and Jefferson County. The numbers are going up tremendously. The county is at a point where they're beginning to shut down particular operations and going back to some of the initial concerns of where we were early on in the pandemic. I was informed that the numbers are higher now than they were at any other time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
During the pandemic, even in the earlier days of the pandemic.
Yes, sir.
The county is going back. Obviously, we never left, but the county is going back now to virtual meetings. They were having in-person meetings.
Right.
We were informed and stuff that that the hospitals are at dire conditions, and they are filling up tremendously, and they're getting to the point where we'll have no more beds and stuff in Jefferson County. But I'm stating all of that because I want to make an appeal and stuff to all of us, but particularly citizens of the city of Bessemer, to continue to be vigilant when it comes to this virus. This virus is real, and continuing stuff to do what is necessary when it comes and stuff to what we've already been told. You don't have to be told this over and over and over again. We already know about the social distancing, and we already know about washing hands and wearing masks and doing all of those things that are necessary. But all of us are fatigued right now. You know, I'm tired of COVID. I know everybody else is tired of COVID, but you know, COVID takes no days off. And we have to continue to do what is necessary to make sure that we keep ourselves, our family, and our citizenry and stuff safe. So you know, I'm appealing to everybody to continue to do just a little while longer what is necessary. I do want us up to inform you all that some of our first responders, a great deal of our first responders, the vaccine has been made available and stuff to them. A lot of them are already going and stuff to UAB and stuff to take the vaccine. As you know, first line healthcare and first responders was the first line. But we have to hold on until the vaccine is available and stuff to all of us. So, you know, I just encourage everybody to stay prayerful and continue to do what is necessary to make sure and stuff that we keep ourselves and families safe. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mayor Gurley. I look at the numbers at the top of each week. Mayor Gurley, you're absolutely right. Looking at the numbers on yesterday was really discouraging. But we must continue. I must concur with what you say. We must continue to watch, wear, and wash our hands. I don't care how you think your hands are not dirty. Put them up under that running water, and we'll see how dirty they are. We continue to pray for our first line of defense. I know some of them have experienced COVID-19, but we'll continue to pray that God will do what is necessary to heal this land. Item number 6, please.
Item 6 is a status
Madam,
on,
Madam Chair, no one else has said anything. Just you and the mayor made some comments.
Yes, sir. Counselors, I had
Thank you,
you
ma'am.
down. I had you down to make them afterwards. But counselors, if there's any comments that you would like to make, go ahead at this time.
Yes, I like to say something. Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, you're on point by saying we need to continue to do it, but we do need to continue to remind people, because in so many instances, I go to Lowe's and people, they require that you come in there with the mask on. Well, people get in there with the mask on, then when they get on down the aisle, round in the back of the store, they take them off until they come back to the register. And sometimes they come to the register, they don't have them on. Well, if you come up close to me, somebody's gonna move, and 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be me, and I'm gonna get away. I'd rather let you go on and not get 2 feet close to me. I'll let you go on through the race and go through the line, because I'm gonna move out of your way. That's number one. Number two, on a note, what I hated to see, Lord Seymour, our jewelers, one of our merchants downtown, has had the last days a few weeks ago. They closed out, went out of business, and at some point, I know we doing by social media, but at some point, I think we need to recognize Seymour Jewelers for being a long-time merchant in the city of Bessemer. They've worked on jewelry and watches for people all over this state, and but they are to be commended for being a long-time merchant in the city of Bessemer. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Counselor Matthews. Any other counselor?
Madam
Item
Chair,
number-
I can speak.
Yes, ma'am.
I know they were saying that COVID is really getting bad, and we're going to be in for the next 100 days. And I know Pastor Dr. Harkins spoke on social media being an outlet for the citizens to see everyone and what's going on. Do we know what's going on with the Facebook account? Because I still have got people calling and inboxing me like they can't find the council meetings. When are we going to do Facebook? Have we recovered our account yet, or at least started another one? Because if not, I suggest that us as counselors, we could get, if the mayor let Mr. Singleton make us a Facebook page as the counselors of the Bessemer City.
Councilor Crusoe, to my knowledge, we have not recovered that page, nor have we established a new page.
This Counselor Alexander.
I'm sorry. Mayor Gully, that would be a question for you.
Madam President,
Yes, sir.
I'll have to get with Mr. Singleton and Mr. Norris and see where we are relevant and stuff to that. Everything and stuff that that goes out on social media under the seal and stuff of the city is sanctioned and stuff by the city. Making personal Facebook and stuff pages where people and stuff express their personal opinions, I would not be in agreement with that. But, and so I will definitely get with Mr. Singleton and see where we are relevant and stuff to getting Facebook back up and running.
And this would be a personal Facebook page. This would be sanctioned through the city, but it will be the city councilor's page. And Mr. Norris, whoever controls that page, will be able to control what they post. Just as if we have anything in the city or anything in our districts, or say for council meetings. That's all I was saying.
You'd be more than happy to look at that option and stuff as well. If we cannot get the Facebook primary page up and running.
That's exactly what I was saying. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Crusoe. Councilor Crusoe.
Yes. Mayor Gully, I guess Councilor Alexander, hopefully it was a little more clarity as to what we're asking. It's not to be able to go and say or apply anything personal or personal concerns as far as with the web page for the council. It's just taking an extra measure of keeping the citizens of Bessemer informed of the city business, especially being privy to being able to see the city council meetings. That's our only concern. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Crusoe. Item number 6, please.
Item 6 is a status on written CDBG quarterly report.
Councilors, you know, I've put this on and had it on for quite some time. We did agree per resolution to request the quarterly report. It has been requested. I requested it the last meeting, and it's just a friendly reminder to let Mayor Gully know that it is a request, and we look forward to looking at that report on the second meeting of this month, not the work session, but the second meeting of the month. What I asked for was the end of the year report that was turned in to HUD. That if that could be given to us on the matter, it is a matter of public record. If that can be given to us as that quarterly report, I think that will suffice, Mayor Gully.
Madam President.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
Yes, I'll get with the personnel and stuff up there and see where we are relevant and stuff to that. But as I stated and stuff to you all several times and stuff before, due and stuff to COVID, that has been very little, if any, activity in CDBG. But let me get with personnel and see exactly what was submitted to HUD, and I'll make that available to you.
Thank you, sir. Mayor Gully, we're not asking for names, personal information just the overall information that was sent to HUD that we can review. Item number 7, please.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have a question to Mayor Gully concerning the different reports or information that we're requesting. Mayor Gully, as to, I mean, we'll just namely kind of stick with the CDBG quarterly or annual report. I know there have been instances that we've made requests for certain information or certain reports, and the response was, with the shortage of staff and due to COVID. My question to you, so we'll just have clarity for myself as well as the rest of the citizens here in the city of Bessemer. The annual report that we had to give back to the federal government, did we meet the deadline on reporting that information to the government?
Councilor Crusoe, I have to get into with my personnel here, find out exactly and so what was submitted and stuff back. But all information that you have requested, I've made available and it's up to you when it was requested. But as Council President Donald says, this item has been on the agenda every single meeting here lately. But if I'm telling you since March and prior to that, obviously there's been no activity in that department. Then whatever information is available, I'll be more than happy to make it available to you. But as I stated, it's going to be very little in some information because of COVID. There has not been a lot of activity, period, in that department.
Okay, Mayor Gully, I mean, I'm not questioning as to or discrediting what you're saying as to little to no activity. It's just a simple matter. If we spent every dime of it down to if we haven't touched anything at all, we just asked for a quarterly report, and that was one of the requirements that we agreed upon when we voted to accept the money from the federal government. And it's not true that everything that we've requested of you that's been provided, otherwise it wouldn't still be on the agenda in old business.
Well, that's a matter of opinion. We already know where that stands. But, and so, as I stated once before, I'll get with my personnel and give you what's available and what was submitted back to the federal government. So no matter how many different times we ask the same question, I still have to get with my personnel to find out exactly and so what's submitted back. And I've already said, this is my 3rd time mentioning that. I'll be more than happy to submit it. And it's up to you all at that time.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am, Councilor Alexander.
Didn't we do a resolution establishing receiving the quarterly reports?
Yes, ma'am, I stated that in the beginning. We did do a resolution stating that we would receive a quarterly report. We also did a resolution stating that we would request, and then at next meeting, it will be given to us. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because this resolution was done last year. We haven't received a quarterly report and we've been asking for one. So my thing is, we never received a quarterly report. I don't know if y'all received one, the other counselors received one, but I haven't since we've done this resolution, period. So I don't know what information that we've gotten, maybe the information that we've been requesting, but as far as quarterly reports, I don't remember getting one. And if any money is drawn down on that account, whether it be little to none, we should be still available to see that information.
Madam President, can I just make one more statement that while we're speaking concerning reports and things of that sort, it's sad that as counselors being over the finances and the real property here in the city of Bessemer, the only thing that I've seen that, for the most part, that, the role that we've been playing is basically to accept money, to vote upon accepting money, as to how it's being spent, who's receiving it, where it's going. That part never comes back before the council. We don't hear about how money is being spent until we're stopped in the middle of the streets, or someone calls us to tell us something. And for us to be over finances, only thing we're doing is accepting the checks, and whichever way is leaving out of the account and being utilized throughout the city or on different projects. Now, if I'm wrong, then you tell me that I'm wrong. We don't see that again. So I don't know what type program, what type application we need to add on to our computers for this information to be readily available to us, first and foremost, to come back by us for approval.
Madam President.
One moment, Mayor Gully. Councilor Crusoe, when we approve in the first project that they brought to us, I think we did approve 2 of them. 9 times out of 10 with my reading and the classes that we've just finished concerning CDBG, everything is laid out in that that first packet that we have, unless there's an error and or change. I've not seen it brought back before us. Now, if there is something else that needs to be added to that, can you hear me, Councilor Crusoe? Okay. It's telling me that I have an unstable connection here, and I'm trying to be still so it won't cut off on you. That's why I would encourage each of us. CDBG is a matter of public record. We are supposed to have public input on CDBG. 70% of those fundings are supposed to go into your indigent communities. But I have seen, since I have been here, we have used it for the betterment of the city of Bessemer. I have no problems, Councilor Crusoe, using it for the betterment of the city of Bessemer, but I also want to use it for the communities. Now, whatever is posted having to do with CDBG, it's supposed to be in a place where the citizens can view it. And that place will be in the Bessemer Public Library. We have computers over. If they want to come down, I don't know how they're doing it now, making an appointment, or how they're doing it because of COVID. But if they want to go over and view anything having to do with the CDBG block grant funding, it should be there for their eyes, because it is community and economic development. And I think I have been asking Councilor Crusoe, and this may help you. I think when I came by and asked this body to do that resolution, that would keep us from having to continue to ask and ask and ask. But as I go to the classes and as I learn, there are some things that the counselor cannot have. Names, telephone numbers, social security numbers, birth dates. We cannot have that information that is, I'm told, up under administration. But the business, the address, we can have. Now that report, the end of the year report that I've already spoken with Mr. Abraham Ward, that he got off to HUD, I called him and he said he would have to get a copy. He said he would get with Mr. Norris and the mayor and get me a copy. The reason you all see it back on here this morning is because I have not received that copy. And until I receive that copy, it will be on the agenda. I have done as I agreed to do. Request and wait for the next meeting to get the information. I think, Councilor Crusoe, when the next meeting come, not next week, the work session, but the meeting after that, and we get that information, it will clear a lot of your questions up. As for right now, I don't know whether or not the CDBG block grant funds have come in. I know that it should have been a drawdown on them because we don't know anything about it. And I'm quite sure if there was a drawdown, Mayor Gurley would bring it back to us to have it approved so that we'll know. I think a lot of questions that we ask, it may be the way that we're asking them, and it may be the wording that we're using. I am finding that out in classes with the CDBG block grant funding. It's the wording that we're using that is not conducive to the block grant. But the more I find out, the more I'll let you all know about the CDBG block grant funding. If we can, Councilor Crusoe, just allow Mayor Gully the opportunity, because as I'm looking around the city hall now, there's not a lot of people here. And our next meeting, just allow him to get someone to get that information. When I say someone, it will be Abraham Ward, because the information has already been sent. So it's just a matter of hitting a button and sending it to us, and or send it to Angela to go in our packets. That's all it is. Mayor Gully.
Madam President,
Yes, sir.
Some comments that were made is just totally erroneous. If something has been requested by this council, I've made available and so to this council. Now, if you're not satisfied with what I make available, it's up to you. That's not in sub owning sub me. If you ask and sub something, I give it and sub to you. And someone made a comment that and so that this is a bunch and stuff of rubbish or whatever and stuff we wanted to call. That's not on me. I'm giving you what you requested. It may not in some, maybe you need and so as a council body it's up to think about exactly what you are and stuff requested. And to speak to the comment of CDBG, no funds and stuff has been dispersed. No funds and stuff has been received at this particular time. But and so I cannot go outside the parameters of what you all vote and stuff on and stuff, and where you all earmark funds and stuff to go. I'm operating inside the parameter of what the council has already voted on. If I wanted X amount of dollars to go to park improvements, that's where we go. In the past, if I wanted X amount of dollars to go to Camp Bessemer, that's where it goes. If we want X amount to go to home rehab, that's where it goes. So when someone says that and so that that they're receiving checks and they don't know where the money and stuff is going and where money and stuff in the, and I'm assuming we're talking about in the past, because as I mentioned, as of this year, there has been very little or no activity in community and economic development. But I cannot go outside the parameters of what has been voted on by the city council as to where they want funding and stuff to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Gully. And Councilor Crusoe, as I said, maybe with that 5-year plan, usually when we vote with that 5-year plan and they come back to us with a yearly update on it. Maybe we need to sit and look closely at that 5-year plan that is being given to us so that we can, as Mayor Gully say, place the money where it needs to be placed from the CDBG block grant funding. Councilor Crusoe, does that answer your question?
It does not, but I'll await the paperwork.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mhm.
We'll wait to see what the paperwork says. Item number 7, Ms. Kayla.
Item 7 is an update on Jefferson County coronavirus relief funds, COVID-19 CARES Act funds.
Councilors, as you know, we had to use that I think it was $1.2 million that we received from the CARES Act. I think the 31st was the last day, but fortunately, Bessemer got in before the 31st. And I'm told by a representative in Mr. Patella's office that we did have more receipts than they had money. So I'm sure that we got our receipts in, and there is a check to come to the city of Bessemer to be placed in, we can redirect the funding, as I'm told, and or place it in general funds because of the way the receipts read, that we had already dispersed the fundings. So the check will come back to general funds or to pay for what we had already paid out due to COVID-19 CARES Act funding. I do have a question, Mayor Gully. I remember a counselor, may have been 2 meetings ago, may have been 3, asking about hazard pay for our first line of defense. I went back and I pulled the tape and listened to YouTube, that meeting, and it was stated, if we gave hazard pay to our front line, that it would be over $600,000 that we had left to get from our Coroner's CARES Act. Mayor Gully, to my knowledge, from listening to that tape and the YouTube tape, this body has never agreed to do hazard pay because Attorney Payton stated that we didn't have that kind of money in the CARES Act. Now, what I want to know is this: the checks that was dispersed, maybe I'm going to give it 30 days. I know it hasn't been 30 days, but I'm going to give it 30 days. Was that hazard pay and or overtime for those people who received it? Because one, I can't, I'm like you now, Mayor Gully, I can't tell you what I don't know. That's the first thing. I can't tell you what I don't know. I can tell you what I know. And I don't mind telling a citizen, if they ask me, I'm not going to lie to them. I'm going to tell them exactly what it is. If I'm listening or have that CD in my car, I'll allow them to listen to it in my car or give it to them and they return it back to me. But even reading the minutes, I don't see where there is a resolution for hazard pay. I don't see where there overtime pay, we wouldn't know anything about it until the check signers got the roster. But let me say this to the employees that received those, let me call them stimulus checks or whatever they were. Your council president knew nothing about it. Let me just clear that air. Let me just clear that. And the reason I say that, body and Mayor Gully, I was blasted out the water in Walmart about $118 check that they received saying it was stimulus pay. I had to stand there 35 minutes and explain to them, this body has not agreed on a or an amount for hazard pay. Stimulus check, your overtime would be with you and payroll and your finance director. If there is something you don't understand and you are being told that the city council is holding it up, or the city council voted nay or negatively on it, please, I am approachable. I don't know this answer. They are being that Cynthia Donald is. But let me straighten this out right now. If you lose me, you all, it's telling me that I have a unstable connection. Let me say this for the records. Today, January 5th, 2020, I am very approachable. I love the city of Bessemer. I work, I think, harder than anyone else in this city to try to make sure that the citizens in this city get a part of whatever piece of the pie that is out there and we can use. I want some of it for the city of Bessemer. If you have an administrative concern and or care, administration is not up under the city council. That is directly up under the mayor of the city, the CEO of this city. I suggest that you would set up an appointment and talk to him. I can tell you that because I've spoken with him myself. I have called and set up appointments with him and spoken with him myself. I suggest that if there's a problem that you don't understand and you're being told that the city council, for one, is holding up your raise. This is just hypothetically. If you're being told that the city council voted no against this, that, and or the other, if you're being told that the city council is holding up anything in this city, please, please come to me. Come to the pro tem. Go to your counselor in your district. My phone number is 205-260-8145. That's 260-8145. If you're being told things about the counselors that are untrue, not just Cynthia Donald, but the 7 counselors that grace that roster, please call those counselors. Don't just go out and tarnish the names of the counselors when you've not even talked to them. If you call me for anything, the first thing I'm going to tell you is, have you spoken with your counselor? And or have you spoken with the mayor's office? Please utilize your elected officials. Know that we are elected by you. That means Mayor Kenneth Gully and the 7 seated councilors. We're elected by you. Please, for those of you who work for the city of Bessemer and live in the city of Bessemer, you have a voice as well. Because you work for us does not mean you don't have a voice. Mayor Gully is there. He can answer your questions. If he does not have an answer, he'll tell you just as he told us, let me get with whomever and I'll get back with you. If the problem is not solved and you come to me and ask me, I'm going to go to him with it, and he know I will. I'll go to him with it and ask him what is going on. That I will do to see why this problem is not resolved. Why did it have to get to me, bypass he and his associates in his office? So I would say this. If there is a problem with the council, know that you can come to the city council. Know that you can go to Mayor Gully. And I hope I'm speaking correctly, Mayor Gully. They can come to you with it. Now, this update on Jefferson County with the CARES Act, Mayor Gully, we're asking for a breakdown of all that was approved by the Jefferson County commissioners, so that we can look at what was approved by Jefferson County commissioners. Mayor Gully.
Madam President, several
Yes,
things.
sir.
Once again, several things I want to clear up. If there's ever any overtime that's in question, it's already in the budget. And so when we approve the annual budget, so each year, we put X amount of dollars in so for overtime. We present it to you all, and you vote on the annual budget. Overtime and so for every department that we deem necessary is already in there. There was, in reference to $118 or $134, so forth and so on. There was a Department of Justice grant, once again, that you all voted and stuff to approve, that paid for 1 month at 5% for police to get hazardous duty and stuff paid. The Department of Justice grant for $26,000, if my memory serves me right, that we accepted for that express purpose of 1 month hazardous duty. Now, as for CARES Act funding, yes, we've submitted and we've resubmitted based on what the county had asked us and encouraged us and stuff to do. We've received 2 checks, one check in the amount of 200 and some odd thousand, another check in the amount of 889,000. And if you recall, we presented all of that information and stuff all the way down and stuff to and stuff receipts when we submitted that back to you all. There were some concerns and stuff about and stuff the county. The county and stuff said dealing and stuff with the simplicity of submitting certain things and getting the money back. They asked us, and so would we augment what we had what we had already applied and resubmit. I'm gonna let Attorney Payton speak and stuff a little bit and stuff to what he and his staff had to go through in order and stuff to resubmit and make that possible. Attorney Payton, would you speak to that a little bit?
Yes, sir. Madam President, council members, the city of Bessemer was allotted by Jefferson County the sum of $1,163,296 in COVID funding. 274,000 of that was for life safety equipment that the council approved to be ordered by Jefferson County. So that reduced the amount that was available for the city of Bessemer to receive was the sum of $889,134 $1,000,000.82. That was the amount that was available in cash for us to receive. And I don't have all the allocation here in front of me, but I know that the city council approved paying the Kellum Wilson to assist with the audit, some funding there due to the COVID matter. And there were life packs for the city police department and the fire department for vehicles. So that comes out of that 889. The Jefferson County had a short form request form for 7 items. That was for personal protective equipment, cleaning and sanitation, medical equipment, telework expenses, workplace safety preparations, training, and payroll. We submitted to the county a large submission to them for the PPE, cleaning and sanitation, medical, workplace safety preparations. We also sent them a request for municipal court, having to use the civic center. If you recall, those were on there. You've extended that, and again, we'll extend that today. They did approve the municipal court expenses in that 889. We have a lot of difficulty getting them to rule on or give us an answer on the PPE submissions, cleaning and sanitation. We submitted invoices and all of that with it, but we had difficult with that. So on December the 17th, we made a payroll submission for, I think it was $1 million, maybe $1.2 million, just as backup to make sure that we didn't leave any money sitting on the table. They did approve. I don't know what they approved. They just sent us an email on December the 29th that they had submitted a check to the city of Bessemer for $889,134.82, which was the amount of cash that we were entitled to. And it's my understanding that we did receive that check the last week of the month. So that's where we are. If you have any further questions on that, I'll be happy to answer.
Madam Chair.
Madam President.
Madam Chair. Oh.
One moment, Councilor Alexander.
Yes, I have several questions. With the money that was submitted for the CARES Act for the first responders to have adamant PPE, are they receiving adamant PPE?
Now, that was not what we submitted. What we submitted for to the county were actual expenses for PPE that the city of Bessemer had paid for. I think it was through September the 30th. So we wanted to
Okay, so is this part of their PPE? Is this part of the PPE that they're supposed to be getting to protect themselves while they're out?
This is for PPE for the entire city of Bessemer workforce. So each department, the police department, the fire department, the public improvement department, Bessemer Utilities, each department submitted to the mayor what they had spent on PPE. And then we took those invoices, put it on a spreadsheet, and sent that to the county for PPE, cleaning and sanitation, all those items that I mentioned.
Okay, because like Councilor Donald, I have got bombarded. And as you know, I am a first responder. I'm a frontline worker, and PPE is everything to protect yourself. And I have got bombarded with calls from employees of the city, even the street and sanitation department, police and fire, stating that they don't have the proper PPE. They don't even check temperatures anymore. And with the city with the Jefferson County going into red zone, into a hot spot, I feel like they need to be protected. And again, I am that counselor that spoke up for hazard pay because our employees are overworked and underpaid. So I feel like they should get hazard pay. So again, are we working on it to get them hazard pay? Will they get hazard pay? And as far as the overtime, I've checked. The only time the officers got overtime was the week that we shut down the city during the rioting. That's the only time that was stated that they got overtime.
So,
but the street and sanitation department get as much overtime as they want. Like, I mean, please make it make sense and explain these things to me, because these are the questions that I'm attacked with, and I just need the answers to provide.
Madam President.
Yes, Gully.
Regardless of whether we got a dime from the federal government, we were going to make sure the employees of this city had adequate PPE and stuff to do and stuff what job is necessary. Now, you know, I can't sit here and go back and forward and stuff with individuals when I don't know where they're getting their information and stuff from. But maybe those employees need to be directed and stuff toward and stuff administration or in some their prospective department head, because I know in my conversation with Chief Roper that there's been overtime that has been paid probably every week since we've been going through this pandemic. That's number one. Nobody gets overtime whenever they feel like it. That is a thing called accountability. Everybody's gonna have to be accountable as to what they're getting overtime and stuff for. So that's untrue and stuff as well. So, you know, if we get into a long back and forth when it comes to certain things, we ain't, you know, this ain't our first rodeo. You know, we're gonna do whatever is necessary to take care of the employees and the citizens of this city. And, you know, and all of us have our own opinion and own perspective of what that and stuff may mean. But and so, you know, we're going to do what's necessary. We only found out and stuff that we qualified for 1.1 million, but even before it was even federal government passed the CARES Act and stuff money, we're going to always do what's necessary to take care of the employees of this city. So I do disagree and stuff with that.
Well, I will have them, and I did tell them to direct their questions and comments to the brass, as they call it, and to administration. But these employees, they told me they were scared. That's why they reached out to me. I've seen some at the grocery store, at the gas station, and it's not only police and fire, it's street and sanitation. They were worried about getting their temperature checked. They told me that you said we have qualified people that check temperatures and do what needs to be done. And then I hear that the guy on the trash truck is checking temperatures and swabbing for COVID. I mean, that's an insult to me, having a degree and having to go through FEMA certification to even work with COVID patients. I just feel like I just don't want our employees at risk. I would rather have someone who's professionally trained to do these things. And you stated yourself that we have these people employed by the city of Bessemer or subcontracted through the city of Bessemer.
Councilor Crusoe.
Yes, ma'am. Is okay. Is the floor for me right now?
I can hear you.
Okay. According to the numbers that have been provided to me, kind of going back to what Attorney Payton said, you know, he spoke in terms of the $274,161.18 that was approved for the life-saving equipment. He mentioned, of course, the assistant with the audit. Perhaps I can help you with those numbers. According to this printout that I have, $83,247.51 was approved out of this $1.1 million for to assist with the audit. As for the municipal court project, $130,900 approved, which left a balance of $674,987.31, which was all thrown into a general description of public safety payroll. So according to this printout that was submitted to the federal government to eat up this $1.1 million, that is basically the breakdown. So as far as in this $674,987.31 for public safety payroll, and we have employees saying that they're not receiving hazard pay or being told. I mean, we all receive phone calls. Some of them, again, with the $100 paycheck saying that it was overtime. Some of them said that they were being told that it was their hazard pay. So for this, I mean, now that you know the number, Attorney Payton, can you expound upon that as far as with this $674,987.31? What was that used for?
All right, so again, Councilor Crusoe, we made a large submission for PPE, cleaning and sanitation, medical, telework expenses, workplace safety, training, payroll. We made that submission to the county. I've not gotten a breakdown on those items as to which ones they approved, okay? Let me finish. That's what we submitted to them. We kept asking them, when are you going to respond to these items? They never would give it. They came back to us and they asked us, they said, look, first responder payroll, not overtime, not hazard pay, but first responder payroll was, we could submit payroll under that, ordinary payroll for fire and police. We could submit that, and that they would take that and pay us the $889,000 based on that, okay? And that is what we did. Ordinary pay. We took 1.2 million, I think, between police and fire, their total payroll between March 1 and November 30th would be somewhere around $5 million. Well, of course, we only have 1,163,000 total that was available. So in an abundance of caution, we took approximately 1 million to 1.2 million of first responder pay, ordinary pay, and submitted it in addition to the other items that we submitted, so that the city of Bessemer would make sure and capture the full 1,163,296. Now, the county, I made a request to the county as to report to the city what they based that $889,000 on. Tell me how you calculated that and which items you approved for that. They have not responded to that request, other than to say in an email dated December the 29th, a check for $889,134.82 was issued on 12/23. That is been told me.
Oh, okay.
Okay, councilors, we'll wait. Is there any other councilors and a question and or a comment? If not, we'll wait.
Yeah. I do have a couple of comments.
Yes, sir.
In relation to, from an accounting standpoint, what role does or is accounting or playing, or the finance department playing in this CARES Act? Is this left up to the attorney from the accounting standpoint? I'm asking this because we're council members. You got a police department. What role does the finance department play in all of this submission, or is it something legal that has to be taken care of? That's one question. The other question is, you're talking about how much was submitted and how much was turned in and all this. Well, how much was paid according to the submission part of it? Is any CARES Act money being paid in overtime, or is it just put into the general fund?
It was just general fund money.
Okay, now answer my first question. From the finance department, what role are they, or look like none, but are they playing any role? Are they giving you the numbers to submit, what?
The finance. Let me, Attorney Payton, I can better answer that.
Okay, go ahead.
One moment. Councilor Matthews, are you finished with your questions?
Yeah, answer the one about the finance department. Yeah.
Okay, Mayor Gully said he could answer that question. Mayor Gully?
The finance department and the attorney, based on the directions from me, has been working together to make sure that we submitted to the county accurately everything that we needed in order to maximize the 1.1 millions of dollars that we needed. Our position was that we did not want to leave any money that was allotted or earmarked to Bessemer and so undone. I instructed the finance department and the city attorney's office to work together to do whatever we needed and stuff to do to make sure that we got every bit of the funding that was allotted to the city of Bessemer. So, you
Okay.
know, I do kind of take issue when you say that look like they played none, because a lot of the information and stuff that Attorney Payton and his staff will have worked with had to come from the finance department in order and stuff for it to in order for them to do anything to submit it. So it was a combination of both departments working together to make sure everything was submitted properly, so we wouldn't end up with a situation whereby somebody was asking us and stuff to refund or pay monies back or doing stuff, whatever. We wanted to make sure it was done accurately. Thank you.
Madam President.
Yeah, well, hold.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay. Well, if you take issue, I can't do nothing about you taking issue. But if there's a financial report to be given, I would think a finance person would give it. If there's a legal report to be given, I would look for an attorney to give it. That's why I asked. That's why I made the statement. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Well,
But
it
I mean,
is what it is from an administrative,
yeah.
but this is an administrative call that I made in
Well,
Councilman
okay,
Matthews.
you okay? Well, you called it, then you answered my question. So, I mean, I just said if you take offense, or you take offense. But I was looking for a finance person to give the report. And the last question, from a PPE standpoint, and I very well understand what PPE is. Is there a running list of PPE equipment that was designated for each department to use? Because I heard some council members say something about the employee said that there wasn't PPE, but it should be a list or of equipment for each department. Am I right? I'm just asking.
Madam President, Councilor Matthews, each department has been given some instructions and so to do and purchase whatever is necessary to make sure that everybody has the necessary PPE in their respective and sub departments. So I don't know where that is actually coming from. Take, for example, the police department. The police department and so has been instructed. Chief Mike Roper knows to purchase, have his people purchase whatever is necessary to make sure that our employees are protected in doing and stuff their day-to-day operations. So every department has been instructed to get whatever is necessary relevant and stuff to PPEs for their employees.
Thank you, sir.
Madam President.
I'll yield to Alexander.
Thank you.
Councilor Crusoe. Councilor Crusoe.
Yes, ma'am. In listening to the statement that was made earlier by Mayor Gully, as far as in making sure that we secured those funds, and as far as in the only thing that could be, according to what Attorney Payton said, that the only thing that could be utilized as it related to payroll was, the general, I guess regular pay or general pay for our, our first responders. And also back to the comment that Mayor Gully said, whether federal funds were available or not, we were still going to take care of our employees here in the city of Bessemer. Given that the federal funds could not be utilized for hazard pay, and if the federal funds were used for payroll, that saved us money in payroll here in general funds for the city of Bessemer. Why can we not utilize our general funds to pay to hazard pay for our city employees?
Madam President, and just
Sir.
for the record, I did not say that you cannot use COVID CARES Act funding for hazard pay. What I said was what we submitted to the county was first responder pay in addition to the other expenses so that we could make sure that we captured the 1,163,296 that was available. That is what I said. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'll just go back and look at it again. You know, maybe, I'm listening wrong. Thank you for the clarity.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am, Counselor
I
Alexander.
just would like to say that when it came to Keelam, the auditor, I did not vote yes. I voted no because I thought it was a conflict of interest for them being the previous auditors of the year to come back and hire them as a subcontractor to help the finance department complete the auditing books for this year's budget. So no, I didn't vote yes on that for the CARES Act money. And I wouldn't vote yes for that because like I said, I think it's unethical and I think it's a conflict of interest and that money could have been used better towards our employees.
Madam Chair.
Um,
Madam Chair.
Good morning. Happy New Year, Counselor Marshall.
Good morning. Happy New Year to you. I
Yes,
want
sir.
to call a point of order. We have planning sessions. This is supposed to be a legislative function that we take care of today. Now, all of this, we've gone an hour, 15 minutes on things that could be discussed in the planning session. So, Madam Chair, I'm asking you to go back to the agenda and let's take care of this business. And if this discussion needs to take place any further, let's do it in the planning session. That's what it's for. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Marshall. When we place items on the agenda, we never know how deep those items will go and what questions would be asked. But I'm glad, Counselor Marshall, that you suggested that this item will be number one on the planning session on next week. And we can go into depth about, and hopefully by that time, we will have in our hands and in our packet the what was approved by Jefferson County Commission. I'm going to, is that okay with this body, that this be placed on the on our work session number one for next week?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, you all. Item number 9, Ms. Taylor, and I'm doing this because we have 2 counselors that has to leave. And I do want their comments to be heard before they leave. Item number 9, I'm sorry, item number 10, Ms. Taylor.
Item 10,
Yes, ma'am.
approval of RFP on AMIT.
Attorney Harris, are you on the line?
I am, Counselor. Can you hear me?
Thank you, sir. Attorney Harris. Received on last evening about 4 o'clock. I received a rebuttal from Attorney Payton that immediately went to, he sent it to the mayor, council's attorney, and council secretary. Attorney Harris.
Yes, ma'am.
Please expound on this rebuttal we have here.
Well, I'll speak to it. I think that the correspondence from the city attorney and any response thereto, ultimately, I believe will probably involve certain questions involving authorities that questions that may end up in litigation. Let me say it that way. I've read the well-written opinion of the council of the city attorney. I got it rather late yesterday evening. I spent much of last night going over it. But while he well states his points, I believe that this matter with Amy and the appointment of an agent for the city goes a bit beyond the opinion by the city attorney and the cases that he cites. And I believe this one involves more. This is not the employment of an employee or an officer of the city. This goes a little bit deeper, and I believe is essentially a financial matter, more properly addressed under code sections which give the council the authority over municipal finances and property.
Madam President.
Yes, ma'am, Council Thigpen, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too. I just have a comment on all of this. I don't, just Attorney Harris, Attorney Payton, I'm at a loss as to what we're doing. I mean, we're not going to save any money by going out for an RFP. So we basically just have a stalemate at this point on who has control or the authority to appoint the agent of record. We have spent thousands of dollars already into this matter. We're not going to save one red cent because AMIC pays a percentage of the premium to the agent of record. So why are we chasing this down a rabbit hole when I'm sure our constituents would rather us spend the money for improvements on the city instead of the thousands of dollars? And it looks like it's going to be even more. I mean, it could be tens of thousands of dollars if we go to outside litigation. So I'm just wondering why, number one, why are we chasing this down the rabbit hole and spending thousands of dollars? And two, what is the reason to get rid of Holt Insurance? Have they done something in the past or caused problems for the city? Because, I mean, we're not going to save any money by putting out an RFP and going with someone else. So that's my questions. It's for the attorneys. It could be for whoever is pushing this. But why are we wasting money just to prove who has the authority to do this?
Madam Chair.
Council Chairman of that committee, one moment, please. Attorney Harris.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to answer that question for Councilor Thigpen, please?
I don't think, Council, that's a legal question. I'll answer it. Any legal aspects of it, I'll be happy to attempt to.
Okay, I'll answer it. I'll answer it for her. Thank you. One, Councilor Thigpen, no one has an alt with Holt Insurance Company. And you're absolutely right. We're chasing a rabbit in a rabbit hole. This body don't want another body to have to come in and face this rabbit again. I think that if we go ahead and we find out, because reading, and you all should have it in your hands, in your email, reading what Attorney Payton sent to us. The council has more power to do what we're not doing. Now, let me state this once again. No one is in behind Holt Insurance Company. No one has stated to me that there's an alt with Joni Holt. Most certainly not myself, Councilor Alexander, and whomever else is on that committee has not stated that there's an alt with Holt Insurance Company. It could have been Donald's Insurance Company. We want to give other insurance companies an opportunity to come in and do business with the city of Bessemer. Never one time did we ever say that Holt Insurance Company could not reapply, could not answer the RFP. Never, not one time, even in the meeting. And I'll turn it over to you, Councilor Alexander.
Thank you, Madam President. In the meeting, we talked to Holt Insurance, and she said it was a 5% savings. First of all, I would like to say it's no difference from healthcare insurance or automotive. It's all up under the same umbrella, and we do pick the healthcare insurance. So why can't we appoint the agent of record? That's first off. Second of all, she said something about a 5% rate savings for last year. It was not brought before the council. I asked her. She told me she corresponded with a finance director and the mayor. Well, the council is over finance, and any type of savings that we're getting, we will want to be privy of that. And Bruce Petway, he comes in, he do a whole, he do a whole spiel, and he shows us what we've saved versus what we're getting into. So why it can't be the same? No one has any out with Joni Holt. We have several insurance companies that's in or around downtown in Bessemer, and I would love to give them the opportunity. And to speak on the money, the thousands of dollars that we're consuming, well, guess what? Those thousands of dollars, if we wasn't consuming them, I still haven't got a street paved in my district. I haven't seen a house put back up on a lot where we are torn down through CDBG money, or the thousands of dollars. And I'd rather spend this money to know that we're doing things the right way than doing things the way that it has been going on for so long. And just because it has been done like that for so long doesn't mean it's right. And it's about time that the city of Bessemer start to put things in perspective and do right by the citizens and the employees of the city of Bessemer. So with that being said, I do want to put out the RFP and Holt Insurance. Just like we did for Falls Janitorial Services, she's welcome to put in an RFP as well, to submit one as well. But I would love to give other agencies in or around the city of Bessemer an opportunity as well.
Madam Chair, go ahead. I yield.
Madam President.
Yes, sir, Councilor Collier. Good morning,
yes,
and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, Madam President. I agree with Councilwoman Thigpen on the matter. When it comes to the health care that we provided, just like we had Blue Cross Blue Shield, that's a different matter. The rates went up, so that's why we had to change. So with that saying, the rates are still the same. We're not gaining anything from it. So why are we changing? I agree, if the rate's going up, yeah, we should change. But if the rates stand the same, there's no need to change. We're not benefiting from it. And we know we're getting the type of service that we need in the city of Bessemer from this insurance company, so why change? That's the only time normally we change things, when we're not getting the services that we need.
Madam Chair.
Collier, one moment. Councilor Collier, who said that we were changing? I keep hearing you all say changing. Who said that we were changing? She may very well come back to be.
Ma'am, Council, I was responding to the comments that Councilwoman Alexander had stated. She said it was time to change.
Okay, all right. Councilor Marshall.
That's not what I said. I said it's time for the city to make a change and do right by the citizens of Bessemer. I said, even though we have done this for a long time, does not mean that we have done, it's done the right way. And it's time to make a change and do the right thing.
No, ma'am, you said we need to change. We need to give other companies in and around the city of Bessemer a chance to have this business.
That's exactly what you said.
You just said a chance to have this.
Yes, but you said this time we went outside of this one and go with someone else.
That means a change.
Okay,
that's
a change. Marshall.
Madam Chair.
Councilor Marshall, yes, sir.
Let's just be reasonable. Because we
Okay,
got
come on,
we got to work together, okay?
yes, sir, we
Now,
do.
Attorney Harris or Attorney Payton or somebody exchanged some documentation. Let's have the attorneys sit down and talk through this issue of who actually has the authority to do what. Because it's not clear. It's not clear. We know what has happened in the past, but it's still not clear. So the reasonable thing, in my opinion, is to have the attorneys to sit down and let them exchange their ideas and their thoughts on it, see if they can come to some resolution. If they cannot come to some resolution in terms of who has the authority to do it, then maybe a third party is brought in to help mitigate the situation or to arbitrate the situation. I think otherwise, this requesting a request for a proposal, I mean, I think at this point is inappropriate because as has already been said, we have not had any problem with hold agency. We're not going to save any money by not doing business with hold agency. I mean, so what's the issue? So again,
Madam Chair,
bottom
sorry.
line,
One moment,
bottom line,
Counselor. One
bottom
moment,
line.
Counselor Crusoe. I'm sorry, Counselor Alexander, please allow Counselor Marshall to complete his statement.
I just want to say bottom line, I suggest that the two attorneys get together and discuss this this matter in more detail. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Counselor Marshall. Counselor Matthews, was that you?
Yeah.
I heard.
Yes, I was. What did Councilor Alexander have something she wanted to say?
I think
yes, I wanted to say to Councilor Collier that we didn't have a savings. Actually, the insurance rate, the healthcare insurance premium, it did go up. And I get stopped about that all the time. And I have to explain to them why we picked that plan. So yes, it did go up. It didn't stay the same.
Counselor Matthews.
Yeah, thank you, man.
That's what I said. It did go up. That's why we changed.
Counselor Matthews. Yes, sir. That is what you stated. Counselor Matthews.
Yeah, first of all, I'm gonna start from the. I'm not gonna go back to 1998, but I will start with just was a previous statement made about the attorneys get together. I thought about a month ago we requested that happen, and it's still. I don't see the opinions of either changing, because in the letter that we received on yesterday, which I guess these letters come in at almost at the 9th hour or the 11th hour for whatever reason. I don't think the opinions of either attorney is going to change. And I might add this, if attorneys, you can probably help me on this. What's being insured is city properties and vehicles and other things that falls up under the council, okay? And regardless if it was done 30 years ago, 100 years ago, and if you say the law doesn't clearly state that the mayor is over appointing the agent and the council don't appoint the agent, it may not never say that. But what the agent is dealing with is city property, city vehicles, whether it's structural or whatever, you know. If that be the case, I don't see in my dumbest mind why, if the council's over property, why don't the council appoint who deals with the property? I just can't, I can't fathom. I mean, and I heard something about litigation. If you want to do some litigation, that's fine too. I don't see the necessity of keep going back and forth with this issue. It's been over 2 years. I even went to Montgomery and got a pack of lies when I went down there to Amy. And I'll say it again, a pack of lies and unclear statements and all of that. And I said it in our meeting at the league. You know, it's something's, it seems like a dead cat on the line somewhere why this is such a important issue not to go forward with. I mean, it's something unclear or underlying anything. And if Councilor Thickpen said that we're chasing a rabbit down the hole, and it seems like it's all about authority and who has the power. Well, however, whatever it takes to get to the bottom line of who has the authority, then let's do it. But it's no need to keep going back and forth with this. It's just nonsense. I mean, it's enough energy. It takes so much energy to keep going back and forth. When it first came out about it, right here in the city, it was paperwork after paperwork. It was deception after deception. And I say, I don't care who don't like it. A bunch of lies was told. It was a lot of things that wasn't even told. So, you know, I mean, there's lies all the time, you know, as far as that concerned. But when it comes down to who's right and who's wrong, well, let's see who's right and who's wrong. I mean, if it takes a court to decide, I ain't talking no mediator or whatever. And if any judge sit around and say that the council is over property and finance of the city, but another person has to dictate who that person is, you better watch out for that judge. But anyway, that's all I'm gonna say on it. And I'm ready to lay this baby to bed, lay it to rest, because like I say, something ain't right. It's not right with this whole thing about who has the authority to appoint the agent. And I will go back to Moulton, Allen, and Williams. I disagreed with the former administration when they called itself appointed Moulton, Allen, and Williams. I disagree with it 100%. But when I came on the council in '98, it was already in Holt Insurance name, and I was told that was just agreed upon. Whether it was or wasn't, I don't know. But we're back where we are. Where we are now is where we were 2 years ago with this, and it seems like we don't ever make any progress on it. So we need to clear this thing up today and be done with it.
Madam Chair.
Councilor Marshall.
Attorney Payne, Attorney Harris, have the two of you sat together and dealt with this situation in depth?
Madam President, this is Shan.
Yes.
We have not had that opportunity. If you recall, and I don't want to speak out of turn, but Mr. Harris had some health issues he had going on. So there's been a couple other matters that have come up since that time that have prevented us from sitting down together. And that's all I want to say about that. It hadn't been that we've been dilatory about it. I sent Greg some case law. I think that case law is applicable. I've sent it to the council. I encourage you to read the Scott versus Coachman case. If Mr. Harris has some law, statutory, or case law otherwise, I'm willing to listen to it. But it just seems to me to be very clear that the mayor is the appointing authority of the city unless the legislature specifically states otherwise. Now, I think if I'd love for Greg to set something down in writing like I did, give it to him, and let's discuss it. And that's what I have to say. Thank you.
And
One moment.
Madam Chair.
One moment, Councilor Marshall.
Okay, thank
Who
you.
was that I heard?
Crusoe.
Councilor Crusoe.
Okay. Long before the last 2 months, as far as in before Attorney Harris had health issues, you know,
Right.
this request has been made long before then, as far as in with the attorneys sitting down to determine as to whose baby this is. So I mean, it's no sense in let's keep on kicking the can down the road. We have it on the agenda to be voted on today. Can we go forth as far as an entertaining? I mean, just speak your conviction through your vote.
Councilor Marshall. Thank you, Councilor Crusoe. Councilor Marshall.
Madam Chair, I'm still suggesting and recommending that the attorneys sit down and look at this, because what good is it to do an RFP? I mean, who's qualified to even evaluate the information that's coming back? I mean, who on the committee, or who on this council is qualified to select someone? I'd rather see us be reasonable and let the attorneys get together, since they have not met face to face, to discuss this, or Zoom, or however they wish to do it. Because you could pass this resolution and really law comes back and says, well, you as council, you don't have the authority to do that, to pick that that agent of record. Why not get the issue, the number one issue, settled before you start talking about doing RFPs? I mean, that to me is the most reasonable thing to do, is get the issue settled first in terms of who has the authority to do the appointment, rather than doing an RFP. And then the RFP comes back and then it comes out that, well, you don't really even have the authority. And again, who has the knowledge to even do the evaluation of the information that comes back? That's my suggestion. Thank you.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,
Madam
okay,
Chair.
go ahead. I yield to you.
One moment,
Yeah.
Councilor Matthews.
Yeah, now and as Councilor Crusoe said about kicking the can, this can been kicked for 2 years, and Attorney Payton, and it may be some others that I don't know, but every attorney from the Alabama League on down clearly has the same opinion that Attorney Harris had. Only one attorney that I have spoken to say that the mayor has the authority. One attorney. No offense to Attorney Payton. As I stated, it's a dead cat on the line somewhere. And if you hadn't done anything in 2 years when this came up, what reasonable term is going to come up now about who has the authority? That's my question. If they hadn't, you've had two. I understand what you're saying about Attorney Harris has some health issues and personal issues or whatever, but you've had 2 years. I mean, what's going to happen after this meeting if it's agreed upon? That hadn't happened in 2 years. I mean, you could have sat down and you could have walked to New Zealand by now and back in 2 years.
Thank you.
That's all I got to say.
Madam President.
Councilor Alexander, let us move on, please.
I just want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
I just didn't know you have to have a special degree to pick the agent of record. I mean, plenty of councils that sit on this council has bachelor degrees or higher. So I'm just confused as to why you will have to have a certain degree to pick an insurance agent.
According to AMIC, all you have to do is be a certified licensed insurance agent and a member of AMIC.
Well, but you put all kinds of specifications in the RFP that go beyond just being a licensed agent. I mean, you talk
Thank
about
you,
risk
thank you,
management.
Councilor Marshall. Thank you, Councilor Marshall. I've heard each of you, and I heard someone say be reasonable. I've heard someone say, why are we picking at Holt? I've heard someone say a lot of things, but this has been a 2-year run. Right now, we see a lot of opinions on paperwork, even an opinion from the city of Fairfield. But it appears to be clear to me that even if the attorneys does sit down and talk, there's still discrepancy on both sides. I would ask this body to go ahead so another body won't have to go through what we've been through and what we're going through now, to try to just establish some perimeters of who will, who don't, who should, and who couldn't. Now, Holt Insurance Agency, I have the highest respect for, as along with Joni Holt. As I stated earlier, no one has told me anything about having a disagreement with her and the alt. But what I will ask of this body today, we go ahead and I need a motion on item number 10 and a second. Vote your conviction. Councilors, I need a motion on item number 10.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like
Madam
to
Chair,
that we
point of order.
approve, go forth with
Point of order.
request for
Second.
RFP, please.
Second.
Point of order. Point of order.
Your point of order has been recognized. It has been motioned and second that we will go.
Madam Chair, if
on
my
item
point of order
number
has been-
10, approval of
Madam Chair,
RFP
point of
on
order.
AMIC. Ms. Taylor,
Point
roll
of order.
call, please.
Point of order.
Ms. Taylor.
You have to recognize.
I do
you
not
have to
have to recognize
my-
your, I
Yes,
do
you
not.
do.
And I've recognized
You
it.
have
There
to.
was a motion on the floor.
Point of
You
order.
have just allowed her to finish her motion, and the second.
Point of order. Point of order.
Ms. Taylor.
Point of order.
Ms. Taylor.
Point of order.
Ms. Taylor.
Councilor Alexander.
Madam Chair, you didn't allow
Aye.
for.
Point of order.
Ms. Taylor.
Councilor
Point
Collier.
of order.
Not allow for discussion after your motion and your second.
We've already discussed Councilor Thigpen. Ms. Taylor, please finish the roll call.
But you still have to ask for questions.
Council President, will you mind recognizing the discussion, please?
I will recognize the discussion, and then we'll go back to the motion that was on the floor. Discussion, Councilor Thigpen.
Well, I call for the point of order.
Point of order is when the procedure is not being correctly followed. That
Absolutely.
point of order just don't stop a motion.
Stop the procedure. No, it doesn't.
The procedure is
Say
correct.
you say.
My comment is, I think everybody on this council needs to take a class in Robert's Rules of Order and parliamentary procedures, because after all of these years, most people don't know what they're doing. So get a book. There's one for dummies. Get a book.
Right.
Come on now. Y'all should know.
Don't nobody have to get no rule for
You're
dummies.
absolutely right. Councilor Matthews, she's absolutely right. There is one for dummies. Now, because you call point of order does not mean the motion stops, nor does it mean that the
But I call point of order before the motion was made.
You called point of order on something else, Councilor.
No, I didn't. No.
Okay.
Well, you didn't know what I called it
Is
on.
there something?
But I call point of order. I call point of order before the motion was made.
Councilor Marshall, is there something you need to say? Any other councilor that has?
Yeah, I do have something to say.
Yes, sir. Yes,
it's
sir.
sad to say that we continue to go down the road, a path of having poor leadership and not being reasonable, but wanting to have a power grab. There's an evil spirit in some members on this body. That's all I can say. I'm
Thank you,
finished.
sir. Thank you, sir. Counselor Marshall. Thank you for your opinion. Ms. Taylor, will we resume? Roll call, please.
Okay, I have a yes vote for Counselor Alexander. Counselor Collier.
Nay.
Counselor Crusoe.
Yes. Aye.
Counselor Marshall.
Nay.
Counselor Thigpen.
No.
Counselor Matthews.
Aye. Yes.
Counselor Donald.
Yes.
4 ayes, 3 nays. The motion carries.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Item number 8, please. Attorney Harris, Attorney Payton, will you all, I'll be calling both of you all to get together in a meeting with the council sometimes this week. Mayor Gully, will you please look at your schedule and let us know when you can meet with us as soon as possible, tomorrow, if possible. Item number 8, please.
Oh, ma'am, I will not. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, Mayor Gully. Item number 8, please.
Item 8, fire safety smoke detector.
That was placed on by me, counselors. I had spoken with Mayor Gully on the last meeting, and he said he would have somebody here to speak from the fire department on fire safety and smoke detectors.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
Here again is another item that is more appropriately for a planning session. The next item, it's more appropriate for a planning session. Why do we spend so much time on items that don't deal with passing legislation to try to move the city forward? We spend too much time on items that ought to go on a planning session.
Counselor Marshall.
You don't understand yet, do you?
Counselor
I'm
Marshall.
sorry you don't understand.
Counselor Marshall, I placed this on because of the fires and the hazards that are. Item number 8, Ms. Taylor, please.
Can't you discuss the fires and the hazard in the planning session just as well as here? But this is not the place for it. You
Thank
don't
you.
seem to understand.
Thank
You
you,
don't seem to
Counselor
understand.
Marshall. Thank you,
You don't
Counselor
understand the
Marshall.
difference between a
Thank
planning
you.
session and a regular council meeting. I'm
Thank you,
sorry,
Counselor Marshall.
you just don't
Point
have.
of order, can
Thank you.
mute his mic.
Now, that's the
To
procedure.
keep things in order.
Nobody can mute
Mr.
my mic.
Singleton, Mr. Singleton, please mute that mic for me, please.
No, sir, Mr. Singleton, do not mute.
Oh,
This is a city council meeting. You don't have the authority to dictate a council
I
meeting.
have the authority to tell one of my employees what not and stuff to do. If it's not used and stuff appropriately, I will not have Mr. Singleton to do it.
Well, we
Ms.
need to get our
Crusoe,
council meetings directed by somebody else.
Counselor Crusoe, he is
This
absolutely.
meeting can be adjourned too now.
Mayor is absolutely right.
Let's adjourn it.
Let's adjourn until we can have.
One moment,
Let's adjourn.
one moment, counselors. The mayor is absolutely right. This is a city of Bessemer city council meeting, and the mayor was invited. I need a motion to adjourn this meeting, please.
I'm motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.
No. I vote no.
I vote no also.
I vote no.
There's no roll call to adjourn the meeting.
No roll call.
No roll call to adjourn the meeting. And no majority voted for it.
That's right.
Oh, it looks like you're still on. There was
So
no
what?
adjournment. Attorney,
what
do
now?
you have an opinion?
Attorney Harris, Attorney Payton.
Hey, this is Shan. I've never seen anything quite like this. So I would think a motion to adjourn would take a vote, but I'll certainly look into the rules real quick.
Attorney Harris.
I will look at it in similarly to see what the conduct and all how it all fits in here.
Just give me a second. I'm pulling up the rules now.
So Councilor Thigpen,
Yes, Councilor Marshall.
point of order can't stop.
If a point of order is made prior to a motion,
And that's what I thought I did.
So, Councilor
You-
Thigpen, this is Shan. Just the question was asked, adjourning the meeting according to Robert's Rules of Order. A motion to adjourn or to end the meeting can be made at any time during the meeting unless members have set a fixed time to adjourn. To move to adjourn, a member must rise, address the president, be recognized by the president, presiding officer, and say, Number one, Mr. President. President recognizes member by either nodding at the person or by stating his or her name. Number one, I move that the meeting adjourn. Number two, second. This motion needs a second. It is not debatable. The president takes a vote immediately. It is moved and seconded that the meeting adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. So in order to adjourn a meeting, according to Robert's Rules of Order, there must be a vote to adjourn the meeting. The meeting is not adjourned according to Robert's Rules of Order.
So where are we then if the meeting is not adjourned?
Well, effectively, you don't have a quorum.
Right, we don't have a quorum.
Four of the members left the meeting, so you're without a quorum.
Mhm.
But I mean,
Greg, do you disagree with that statement?
so what now?
Greg, do you agree or disagree with that statement? Mr. Harris on the line.
I think Mr. Harris has left us too. He was,
Hey, he's gonna do what they say do.
yes.
Okay.
It does require a majority vote, but I was assuming, which that's stupid, but then by leaving.
But
and
does not
without a
but does not the mayor have the right to tell Mr. Singleton not to mute someone?
I'm going to leave that to
Yeah.
the mayor, but the employees of the city work under the direction of the mayor. So technically,
Right.
question to direct an employee to do something should go to the mayor.
Right. Yes.
Well, they want to mute when they don't want to hear what's going to be said.
Like I said, there's a lot of people that need to take out the Robert's Rules of Order. I have mine in my desk. I was looking at that. I agree with you. It says that we have to have majority vote when someone adjourns the meeting. And I did look up point of order, and it says as long as there's, before a motion has been made or before.
And I think I made it before the motion, but
Yes,
she didn't want to hear me.
That's correct.
So I think at this point, the meeting's still being recorded. I'm not sure if there's a quorum or not. I'm looking. It does appear that there may be a quorum back.
Do we have a quorum back? Oh, I do see Councilor Crusoe.
Key.
I'm here as well.
Okay. So this meeting has not been adjourned, so we're still,
Okay.
there was no vote to adjourn the meeting.
That okay.
You'll know where we are.
Mm-hmm.
Madam Pro Tem, want to continue the meeting?
Hey.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
Looks
Hello.
like Cynthia is on too. She's getting.
I'm back.
Hello.
Am I
Yes,
back in now?
Oh, and Matthews is back on too. So everybody's back. So we just took a break.
Wait, let me apologize to you all. The end came out of my computer. I did not adjourn the meeting without a vote. Let me say that. I've been telling you all through the meeting that it was telling me that I was unstable. I have not. There was a motion made to adjourn the meeting and a second. We need a vote according to Robert Rules of Order. We have to have a vote to adjourn this meeting. I do apologize. Let me say that. I don't care how much or what happens. I do apologize. Thank you so much for putting me back on. That I have the end of this computer came out. Miss Taylor. Miss Taylor. Oh, Lord, now I can't see him.
Madam President, may we discuss the adjournment?
One moment, let me make sure, because I can't see anything. Now I'm gonna go across into the council's chambers and get him back over here so he can make sure I'm stable. One moment, Councilor Thigpen.
Okay, hello, is everyone still there?
I'm here. I'm here.
Yes. Just waiting.
I'm here. This Wanda. I'm here on the line.
Okay, just waiting on Councilor Donald.
You didn't have COVID, did you? Oh, no. Okay. I can put my mask on right here. Now, Miss Taylor.
Yes.
Okay, she's on. She's on. Miss Taylor, the last thing that happened, can you read it back to me, please?
Councilor Alexander made the motion to adjourn the meeting. Councilor Crusoe seconded.
Now, when we, I do apologize again, you all, that the end came out of my computer. I did not adjourn the meeting without a vote. Miss Taylor, roll
Yes.
call, please.
Councilor Alexander.
Discussion, please.
Hello?
Council President.
Yes, ma'am. After this go through, we'll speak. Roll call, please, Miss Taylor.
Discussion becomes a vote.
We've already been in a discussion.
No, we have not about adjourning. We have not had a discussion about adjourning. You had a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Would be the question you ask.
This is the first time that this has happened during adjourning a meeting. I just want to put that out there.
It doesn't matter if it's the first time. It's still appropriate according to Robert's rules.
Councilor Thigpen.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have some discussion, please? And please bring your voice down because I'm not going to scream at you, okay? Is there any discussion?
Yes, ma'am, there is. I think we have business of this city to conduct, and without acting like children and other people, I'm not saying the ones that left. I'm saying anyone can't be agreeable to conducting the business of this city.
I think we all are agreeable in conducting the business of the city.
Need to
Councilor
meeting.
But when we don't, the thing of it is, Councilor Crusoe, I'm sorry, Councilor Thigpen, the thing of it is when it comes to, we cannot agree to disagree. We can do that, and we should be able to do that, as you say, in a childish way. Is there any more discussion, please?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
One of the concerns that I have.
Okay, your concern.
My concern is that we don't stay to the agenda.
Yes,
We're
sir.
all over the place. We're discussing items that are appropriate for planning sessions and not for these meetings. If we stayed to the agenda and dealt with the agenda, I think we can get through it. We can get through it and work together to move this city forward. But when we have items on the agenda that are not pertinent to the agenda, but should be on a planning session, that throws everything. I mean, we spent too much time on the COVID thing and all of that when that could have been in a planning session. So bottom line, if we stayed to the agenda, I think we would have more productive meeting.
I do agree with you. We stay to the agenda, and I'll keep staying to the agenda that I have printed out for the counselors. Thank you all so much. Roll call, Ms. Taylor.
Councilor Collier. Councilor Collier. Councilor Crusoe.
Aye.
Councilor Marshall.
Aye.
Councilor Thigpen.
No, I think we should complete the meeting.
Councilor Matthews.
Aye.
Councilor Donald.
Aye.
5 ayes, 1 nay. The motion carries.
Thank you. Have a good day, and I'll see you in work session on next Tuesday.